Hi, welcome. This was not how this video was supposed to be. In fact, I recorded an entire series of videos about 6 days ago, and since then, I've been trying to edit the videos, and it's just not working. I've downloaded every software there is, and the whole point of this new channel is that I would let people see the real me, and I felt like God was saying, just be yourself, and I was like, God. Crikey, technology is making it kind of hard for me to be myself. So in the end, I just came to my Hartford office and I rigged up these flowers just so that it would look, a little bit, give a little bit of something in the background rather than just white. And then I'm just going to talk to you because I figured that the people who this video is for are not really people who are here trying to watch an aesthetically pleasing video. They're just people who care about someone telling the truth, someone sharing their life. So I'm Cynthia. Stroud is what you might know me as on TV and book and whatever. Or officially, my married name is Cynthia Tooley. I mean, I've changed my name so many times, I don't even know which name to put down half the time. Started off as Cynthia Iguatu, which is my maiden name, which is a strong maiden name because Iguatu means fearless. That kind of describes me, and I'll get to that. And then I became Cynthia Stroud when I got married, and I was like, oh, we're going to be together forever. And then I became Cynthia Tooley when I got married again. And now I'm just like, listen, I kind of feel like I should have just stuck with the original one because that one described me. Anyway, so I have another YouTube channel which you may have seen or not, and that was where I was kind of all posy. I had to be a certain person, and I kind of was just trying to be who I was supposed to be. I don't know who was supposing me to be that, but I was trying to be that. Uh, you can probably hear workmen working. That's because this office is being redone, which is why this is being rejigged. It's not being redone just to post YouTube channels, by the way. I'm not that vacuous. It's being redone because it's a charity and we are creating a new initiative to fund ourselves because I don't want us to just rely solely on government grants and on donations. I decided I'm just going to make the charity a bit like myself and just earn some money so we can keep doing the things we love doing. So apologies if you can hear my amazing workman car, using some moto over there. Anyway, so I just thought, you know what? I don't really want to keep using filters and editing a video and making it all just so, because all that does is the real people I connect to would just feel like they can never, ever, break that barrier they're trying to break. They can never do the things that I did. Whereas in actual fact, how I started my own business, how I came to England, how I did anything was a bit like this. Just get up and go. Just use what you have. Just, sort of clubber it together until you make it. So this is actually a more authentic me than that video I recorded on Saturday and I've been fighting with trying to edit together. I think I'm just gonna abandon that now. So I'm Cynthia, as we've established already several times. I have done TV judging on BBC, Channel 4, and Great Chocolate Showdown in Canada and US. I've also done cake stuff, which is, like that's my passion. And I set up a charity that I've mentioned as well. But increasingly these days, I got married and I spend quite a lot of time having dinner with politicians and people in the House of Lords and things like that. But whenever I give a talk, and I get invited to give a talk a lot, to give talks a lot, and I always end up talking about my journey because that's really what people want to know. And the truth is, I actually came to England, as I said, without enough money to even do the degree I came to do. I came with just one term's money. And when I was about to go, I said to my mom, Mom, we don't have enough money. Should I even bother? Mom said, just go and start. My mom is so wise, right? So when she said, just go and start, I went and started. So it's a bit like this. I don't have my background ready. Just go and start. I don't have the right, paperwork. Just go and start, right? And I came to England in 2004, right? It was a fight to get my visa. I lived on £10 a month. A week. It wasn't that bad. £10 a week. I ate so much Tesco value stuff. Other supermarkets are available, and other value stuff is also available. But I was so broke, right? That I remember once I came to do my MBA. One of the MBA students was like, "Let's go out for my birthday and eat." Now, where I come from, if somebody invites you to come and eat, you are not expected to pay. I had never lived outside of Nigeria before. Therefore, when they invited me, I was like, thank God, at least I'm going to get to eat a meal that isn't Tesco value. So we went to a Chinese restaurant. I was eating. I was so happy because I was so skinny. Not skinny because I was dieting, just skinny because I couldn't afford food. Um, and I was just eating. And when they finished, I saw the waiter come, and I was just like, I don't know what they're doing there. It's all right. And then they said everybody's share was £6. Mind you, that was 2004, so that was a while back. I was like, what? Whose share? Whose share? It turns out that in this country, in England, if somebody invites you to come and eat, you're also expected to pay. Man, I was like, miss me with that kind of invitation next time. This was a long time ago. I'm not that skint now, but this was a long time ago. So just a warning for anybody who is watching this in like Africa or wherever else, that we don't have this custom. When you first arrive here, especially if you're on a budget, when people invite you to come and eat, just surreptitiously ask, am I expected to pay? So that you can, check your wallet. Anyway, so I lived really, really broke for a long time, and then finished and got a job in a town where I knew no one, literally no one. And then got married. And when I started baking, it was literally just because my first baby had died. And I didn't want my son to go to nursery because I had anxiety. And I started baking, and I was teaching myself how to bake just by watching YouTube, a bit like you're watching now. And it just went from that to making wedding cakes to, earning £500 a month. Then few months later, I was earning £1,000 a month. A couple of years later, I was earning, I think, 4,000 a month. And 6 years later, I was turning over £250,000, which I don't know how used to money you are, or what your background is, but when you have been living on £10 a week, that £250,000, I remember when my accountant told me, I sat down because by the way, I was so busy. I wasn't even like checking the bank statements. I was just like, I was making cakes. I was employing people. We had vans going all over the country. We were flying cakes out abroad. When my accountant said, oh, you've done very well. You turned over 250,000. I thought he made a mistake, right? So, and I know that I had no strategy. I actually had no strategy. I'll be honest with you. My one strategy was, if people are going to keep ordering from me, I'm going to keep being available. So I never said no to anybody. People will say things like, oh, I don't suppose you can fly a cake to Spain. I'll be like, why not? And then when they book, I'm like, oh God, quick, let me grab my phone. How do you fly a cake? So that was all I knew to do. And people will be like, are you not scared taking all this stuff? Well, I just used to be like, God, give me a sign, right? That was kind of the extent of my prayer. I remember when I was going to take my shop, I literally asked God for a sign to see doves, and I got them. Okay. And then when I set up the charity, I didn't set up, I mean, a lot of people look at this charity and they're like, oh, you're so good, Cynthia. And yeah, I am good, but I'm not good like I sat at my home and I was like, God, all these poor people, I want to feed them. No, that is not the truth. And I don't want you to think that. And the reason I'm being very careful to make sure you don't think that is because in this day and age, we just like to judge ourselves too harshly. It's like we're looking for reasons to punish ourselves. We see a very pretty girl, we're like, why am I not as pretty as they? You don't know that she's probably spent 3-4 hours in the bathroom just to look like that. She probably doesn't even think she's pretty. Or you see somebody who's done charity work like I have, and you're like, gosh, why am I not as, selfless as they are? If I'm really honest, I didn't set out to start a charity. I was just one day praying. To be fair, I said to God, my New Year resolution was, I said, God, one day I want to feed 1 million people. Right? I said that because God had been taking me through some things. I'll go into that in another post. And I just said that, casually. And this was just before lockdown. So I thought I'll start a soup kitchen. When I started soup kitchen, lockdown happened. I was seeing all these people being catty to each other on Facebook, and I felt in my heart that they were just afraid. And God said to me, Cynthia, I want you to feed 100 families. So I approached some schools and I said, I don't suppose you have 100 families. And they were like, yeah, we do. I was like, damn it. They said they had 100 families that needed help. I was like, damn it. Anyway, I said, God, if you want me to feed them, with what money? Because, I don't know if you're aware. Oh man, Carl is really going for it. I apologize. If you come back in future, there won't be building works going on. But for now, this is how it is. So, and by the way, the point of this channel is you're gonna walk with me through my life, through when I host nice dinners and when I am doing charity stuff. So this is life. But I said, God, my business, nobody's ordering cakes because there's this lockdown. And God was like, use your savings. I had very little savings. And I also had 2 children because I'd been through a divorce at that point. And I just kind of thought this was crazy. But I did it anyway. And I promise you, the first time I bought food for those 100 families, I got back home, sat in my car, and I cried because I was so afraid I'd done the wrong thing and I'd wasted money. But one thing led to another. Before we knew it, it went from 100 families to 1,000 families to 3,000 to 5,000 families all over the country, and we were feeding them every 2 weeks. And we've never run out of money, right? So I know that that was God as well. And, when I met my husband, I wasn't looking, my now husband, should I say my current husband? That makes it sound like it's transitory. When I met my husband, I wasn't looking. I promise you, I was fine. Me and God, we were grooving. God had sorted me out with my nice house. I had my nice car. I had my kids in the top schools. Everything was sorted. And it was literally, I'd got to a point where I was making commitments after praying, even before I saw the bank statement, even before I saw evidence of being able to afford it in my bank statement. And it was fine. God was meeting it at every point. So when I met my now husband, I didn't know what life would entail. And it now turns out that this girl who was praying to get a student visa, who was praying to have enough money to pay her school fees, this girl who was panicking when she realized that she had to pay for her own meal in a restaurant all those years ago, is now sitting and having dinners with prime ministers, with politicians, with members of the House of Lords on a regular basis. I mean, you should see who we've got tomorrow. I'm going to actually video a little bit of that because we've got an amazing person coming to get his degree tomorrow. For the sake of security, I'm not going to tell you who it is because that would be wrong. It's not fair. So this is why when I give interviews, people say like, oh, how did you do it? And I say, it's God. They go like, no, but really, it must be you. I'm like, no, seriously, it's God. And I notice that people get uncomfortable. Well, I'll tell you why I say it's God. I don't know what God means to you, but I know what he means to me. I say it's God because I, on my own, have a combination of needing to be very busy, being very creative, and being very brave. Those 3 things are in all the components you need to either make a success or make a bomb. And I have shown through my life that I can blow my life up in a disastrous way. And I'll talk you through that in this channel. I mean, this whole channel is so that if you are at the point where I have been in the past, when I was broke, when I was broken, when I just felt zero confidence and self-worth, that you can know that someone can go from that point to this point. Does it mean that everything is perfect now? No, of course not. However, within myself, I'm a different person now, and I can talk you through how to do that. Now, I'm not suggesting that I have all the answers. No one does. Don't listen to anybody who says they have all the answers. Okay? Don't. But we're going to do this together. And if you're lonely and you just want to chime in with me, then, come along as well. All right. Hey, wow. Carl has really gone next level. But the point of this is I'm not going to bother with, trying to edit the videos and make them super flash anymore because this is a little bit more organic. I just plugged my stuff in and off we go. But thank you for listening to me introduce myself. I want to know who you are. I want to know where you're watching from. And yeah, I've been broke and I've had money. And I came from going to a public school in Nigeria, which doesn't mean what it means here in England. A public school in Nigeria is a rough place. I went there for one term. And I mean, I went to a school where at age 10, you had to come to school with your own machete. Why? So you could cut grass at the end of the school day on a Friday because, the government didn't want to pay for lawn mowers. So I've been there. And I've also now come to a point where I'm dining with people that, I read about, you read about. So I've been through both of those and I've taken myself from here. Well, God's taken me from here to here, and I've suffered a lot of ups and downs. So, whatever point you are, which is the point of this, whatever point you are along the way, you find no judgment here. Okay? And if you came here looking for a nice background, well, I'm sorry you didn't get that, but I hope you got me instead. So, have a lovely day. And when I've figured out just how often we're going to be doing this live thing, I shall let you know. Okay? Bye.